earlier in the year, my guest today, Jack Loshway, said that the Vancouver Canucks were his favorites for the Stanley Cup, going through Washington and Boston in the process of getting there. And today I'm giving him the opportunity to double down on that statement because there's a lot of scrutiny. I got a lot of angry messages about that video. That was a lot earlier in the podcast life, but Jack is here again. Welcome back to the Amateur Hour Podcast. Jack, what is your take on the current Vancouver Canucks sitting atop of the Pacific Division in the NHL at the time of recording?
Yeah, I'm just going to come out and say it. I didn't say they're my favorites for the Stanley Cup, but I definitely think they have a good...
You did. No, you did. You did because I said they have to get through a lot of good teams in order to get to the final. You said they would get through the Pacific, they would get to the conference final.
Yes.
And then you said, I think they get to the final, and I said they have to play Boston to get to the final. And you think, I don't know, I think the Canucks still win that one. You said they were your favorites to win the Stanley Cup.
All right. I don't back down, whatever.
Do you want to double down on that? Do you want to stick to that?
I mean, look at the way Vancouver's playing. Why not, right?
Why not? I'm gonna let you go first, then I'll tell you why I don't. Why not? I'll tell you why not. Go ahead.
Vancouver's playing really good hockey. Getting really points from anyone. There's not really one guy getting a ton of points. They got look at it. 6 players with over 30 points. Quinn Hughes putting in bits for the team. I think they're a really good team. Honestly, I think they're underrated, and they're first in the Pacific. Not the hardest division in the NHL by any means. Very bad division, but that's why I think the team I predict to win the Stanley Cup doesn't mean that I think they're the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Boston and those kind of teams are in really hard divisions, the Central especially. There's a lot of really good teams in that division they'll probably not win just because of how many hard opponents they're going to have to play on the way there. But Vancouver has the chance of being in the Pacific. Very bad division has a chance of playing some not as good teams on the way there, and that's why I think they'll get to at least the conference finals. I could see them winning as well.
Right now, the Pacific Division, 1 seed and the 5 seed in the Pacific are separated by 1 point. Vancouver has 58. The Oilers, the Flames, the Coyotes, and Golden Knights all have 57. What's interesting is that they've each played a different amount of games. Canucks have played... The Oilers and Canucks played 49. Flames on 50. Coyotes on 51. Golden Knights on 52. So it's really tight. The Canucks could still easily miss the playoffs from this point. I don't think they will miss the playoffs. I said in my earlier prediction that they would make the playoffs. I still think they will make the playoffs. When it comes to playoffs, I don't think this team is equipped for a playoff run. You talked a lot about sustainability in terms of play. Like your big argument for the Capitals is that they're overachieving based on their shooting statistics. Well, how about the Vancouver Canucks overachieving? You have 3 players who are contributing way, way, way more than they ever have in their NHL career. You want to know, JT Miller right now is on 46 points playing 49 games. You want to know JT Miller's career high in the NHL in one season? 58 points in 82 games, and he's almost there. In another 10 games, he's going to be there. He's not going to have played even close to 82 games. Another one, Tanner Pearson on 37 points right now. His career high, 44 points.
I wonder why JT Miller's not getting 80 points on Tampa's 4th line. Come on, you can't even say JT Miller. He's playing on Tampa. Of course he's not going to get top minutes.
He was playing on New York when he got these career stats. He was playing
early in his career.
But he was playing reasonable time for these guys. He's blowing his expectations way out of proportion, as is Tanner Pearson, as is Jake Virtanen. He's on pace for a career. In fact, Jake Virtanen already has a career high in points through 49 games. These are guys overachieving at the moment.
The only person with unsustainable numbers is Pettersson, probably with 17% shooting percentage.
I don't think Pettersson's even overachieving. I think this is what we would come to expect from Elias Pettersson at this point. Elias Pettersson is going to be the star. I don't see guys like JT Miller, Tanner Pearson, Jake Virtanen being able to sustain this high level of play when it comes to the grit and grind of playoff times. I look at the line combination for the forwards, like Louis Eriksson playing first line with Bo Horvat and Tanner Pearson. I mean, like aside from the top 2 lines,
Louis Eriksson shouldn't.
There's probably 4 or 5 guys that are going to give you solid output. Other than that, there's a lot of dead wood on this in this team. Like Louis Eriksson, Jay Beagle, Brandon Sutter, Tyler Mott, Antoine Roussel. These guys are not going to be tremendous performers continuously. And I don't think the depth is there in order to sustain a tremendous playoff run. I mean, even the goaltending isn't what it was at the start of the season. Come playoff time, I think they have a chance of getting out of the Pacific side of the playoffs and getting to the conference finals.
You don't think they will?
I don't think they will.
They are getting out of the Pacific.
I said in the earlier episode that their ceiling is conference finals when they have to run into a quality team coming from the other side of the Western Conference, whether it be the Blues or the Avalanche, even if the Jets can get in. I don't think, no, not the Jets. Never mind. Avalanche or Blues, if they get there, they take down the Canucks. So, that's their cap.
So do you think the Blues and Colorado are better than Vancouver?
Yes, I do.
So Colorado has one more win than Vancouver.
Talent-wise, it's uncomparable. The amount of talent that the Avalanche have, they're one of the most talented teams in the NHL.
I'm not telling you Colorado's a bad team, but they only have one more win.
Besides the point,
so Vancouver is not good.
I'm looking at playoffs. I'm looking at the talent core within both rosters. The Avalanche are filled with talent that the Canucks cannot match. And when it comes to playoff time, that is a matchup that the Avalanche will win. Right now, I said earlier, I'm going to stick to it. I think the Avalanche are going to come out of the West.
What players on the Avalanche, do you say veteran experience is big? Having a player who's been there before?
Veteran experience is important.
Who in the Avalanche?
Obviously, the Avalanche don't have the veteran experience when it comes to that, but they have a Hart Trophy caliber player in Nathan McKinnon. They have Rantanen. They have Landeskog, who's been injured a lot. People forget about Landeskog. There's a plethora of talent coming through the Colorado team that is not paralleled when you look at the Vancouver Canucks, unfortunately, in my opinion. The Vancouver Canucks do not go through the conference finals if they get there.
I think it's Colorado-Vancouver conference finals, definitely.
And you think Vancouver would win that?
It's a toss-up. I think Vancouver's goaltending has been letting them down recently. If they can figure that back out,
I don't think they can though. Look at who you're talking about.
When I first made the prediction, Demko was doing a lot better than he is now.
But I was saying it's not sustainable.
But they're still up there. They're still up there.
Yeah, but their early season numbers are carrying them right now in their league averages.
No, not at all. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're on a good spell right now, and their schedule the rest of the season is not hard.
Because they're in the Pacific. It's the Pacific. It's gonna be like realistically, the Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs, but it's very, very possible that they do not make the playoffs. It's very possible, looking at how tight.
Who do you think is going to win the Pacific?
Don't
even say it's not Vancouver. It is Vancouver.
I don't think it's Vancouver. I think it's Edmonton.
Oh my God.
I said earlier, I'm gonna stick to what I said. I'm sticking to what I've said earlier on.
You talk about depth. They literally have two players.
Yeah, but those two players are like the two best players in the NHL.
Oh my God.
I'm sticking with Edmonton, and I back the Flames to outperform the Canucks in the playoffs. There's a lot of talent on that roster as well. I think the Canucks can look. I think the Canucks can make the conference finals. I don't think
the Canucks have a negative goal difference. They shouldn't be where they are.
The Canucks?
Sorry, not the Canucks. Sorry, the Flames.
Flames are awful start of the season. They're picking it up now. Listen. By the time this episode comes out, the Canucks could be out of the playoff position. The way the Pacific
there's
is
5
built
teams
right
within a point of each other.
That's what I'm saying. They could be in 5th by the time this episode gets released.
Edmonton could not make playoffs.
Any of those 5 cannot make the playoffs. And I think that looking at things right now, the Oilers, the Canucks...
There's a lot of time left.
And maybe the Coyotes.
There's a lot of time left.
There's a lot of time left. You're right. And look, this could all spin off.
Vancouver has 33 games left. That is almost half the season.
There's a lot of hockey left. I understand that. But it looks like it's going to be a race to finish in the Pacific. It's been one of those divisions where it's not done till final day. You can go from 1st to 3rd on the last day of the season. You can go from 5th to 3rd last day of the season. Right now, you could go from 5th to 1st within one day. So I don't think it's going to be that tight, but I think it's going to come down to the wire. And playoff time, I don't know if I give Canucks my favorite to come out of the Pacific. You're shaking your head.
I
don't think we're going to agree. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are going to be on my side with this one. Do you think if the Canucks make the Stanley Cup that they will be able to beat the likes of whoever it be, Boston, Tampa, Washington?
My problem is not so much that Vancouver's going to win. I'm just saying Boston or Washington's not going to win. Washington's not going to win the Cup this year. I'm telling you that.
Who's going to get through in the East? Who's going to get out of the East?
I like Tampa, honestly. They've choked it so many times, but I like Tampa.
I like Boston.
I like
But
Tampa.
let's go with your hypothetical. Canucks. Let's say the Canucks win their toss up against the
Tampa
Avalanche.
is the hottest team in the league right now.
If Tampa Tampa tied the NHL record for points in the season. I don't care about how hot they go into the playoffs. It's Tampa.
Who they lose?
Who they lose to?
I know who they lost to. But
Who they lose?
Who they lost since then?
Who they lost? Like personnel?
Anyone?
Nobody. But year after year, they choke in the playoffs. I'm not sold on Tampa until I see them perform in the playoffs.
Is there a new coach? Is there a new coach in there? I'm not
sure. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But regardless, Tampa could get to the final because they are probably the most talented team in the East.
In the league.
Sure. Definitely.
Are they not?
Yeah, they are. They're the most talented team. They're the most talented roster in the East or in the NHL. They get to the Stanley Cup. Vancouver win your toss up against Colorado. What happens in the Stanley Cup?
Oh, if Tampa can get it together, Tampa's plowing through them.
Plowing through Vancouver?
Yeah.
What about Boston? Let's go with my hypothetical. Boston and then
rematch. I don't like Boston. I don't know. I just don't see it.
So Canucks would win against Boston in the Stanley Cup final?
Sounds crazy, but I guess so, yeah.
Oh my god. Oh man. I don't see eye to eye with how you rate the.
If you were to tell me, like, I have to put $10 on Boston or Canucks to win the cup this year, like, no betting odds or anything like that, just straight up $10 to win it, pick one team, I'm picking Vancouver.
Man, I don't know.
Boston's not going to get out of that division.
We'll see.
They're not getting out of that division. I don't think you ever pay attention to matchups in the playoffs. You just assume, they're the best team in that division. They're going to go through.
Oh yeah, the Leafs fan doesn't know about the Atlantic Division matchups. Is that what you're trying to tell me? I know the matchups in the Atlantic more than anything.
So then why aren't you considering it?
Because the Lightning, year after year, do not perform the same. They got swept by the 8 seed last year. I'm not sold on Tampa's playoff ability. And Boston are a playoff team. They excel when it comes to playoffs. They get shit done in the playoffs. They have the best line in hockey playing for them. That is enough, and it has been enough over the last few years. Also, Boston are looking to make moves to the deadline. We could maybe see a guy like Tyler Toffoli in a Boston uniform in a couple of weeks. Jack's favorite player of all time could be wearing a Boston uniform in a couple of weeks. So Jack looks very unsettled. So Boston were in the Stanley Cup last year, and maybe we're a bad call away from probably winning the whole thing if a call goes their way in that series. But the Lightning are the best team, but it doesn't mean that the best team is going to go there, like you were saying earlier. If you want to talk about playoff teams, like it could be the Bruins again into the final. And I hate the Bruins.
You just don't see. If you look at like who's won the cup, no one ever makes it. No one ever wins back-to-back years, and no one ever makes the final. Like rare, you make it to the finals back-to-back years. The fatigue is such a big thing, and that's why Boston and Washington, they're too drained out. It's time for they're done. It's not their year.
Oh man,
Tampa's fresh. They're hungry.
I can see. I'm not arguing Tampa. I'm arguing the Canucks here. Look, Tampa could definitely make the conference final. I'm not sold on them until I see it. But Tampa could definitely get to the Stanley Cup final. Like they could win the whole goddamn thing. Like they're the best team in the NHL. They have the best roster in the NHL. Why? Of course they can win. It's just, can they get over that hump? The argument is not on Tampa. The argument is on the Canucks.
Boston. Wow, just look at this now. Boston has 12 overtime losses. They're just squeaking out points because they happen to lose every time in overtime instead of losing regularly.
But you get points how you get points. It's not about how you they got to that over. Look, Boston are awful in shootouts. That's a lot of the reason why they don't get results.
First of all, I just like to say I strongly disagree with the point system right now in the NHL. But that's a whole other episode of that.
You want like 3, 2, and 1?
Yeah.
3 for a win, 2 for overtime win, 1 for overtime loss.
It should be, no matter what, there's 3 points given out. The minimum's that and the maximum's that.
What about,
there shouldn't be 3 points given out in a game where regular it's only 2. That's stupid. It makes no sense.
How would you feel about the NBA system? No overtime loss point. Just either win or you lose.
No, I like the 3-point system.
Yeah,
I think it works.
I think
Like
realistically,
we see that in like the double
I
IHF
think,
and stuff like that.
I think realistically in the future, you see it in international tournaments as well. I think that's a avenue that they can take at some point. But I want. What's your Vancouver? Give me Vancouver. Where they would go this season? Give me your take. Just give me the take.
Straight up honest answer where Vancouver's gonna end up this year. First in the Pacific, and they're gonna go to the conference finals where they might squeak out against Colorado.
Okay, we'll end it there. I can see it possible. I don't see them. They're not going to win that series if they get there. I can see them getting to the conference finals at their absolute max.
Well, my biggest statement from last time is that they were 100% getting to the conference finals, and I still stand by that.
Okay, we will end it there. Thank you to Jack for joining us for this episode. By the way, if you're still here, please comment on the Instagram or Twitter at AmateurPDC, or just DM the account. You can DM myself, Jacob, or Jack what your take is on the Vancouver Canucks. I am very curious. I think there's going to be some strong opinions on how people feel about this, but that wraps up this episode. Like the video if you liked it on YouTube. Follow on Spotify, subscribe on YouTube, and as usual, we post every single day, so keep coming back for the daily content. We will see you again tomorrow.